back to IMDb at New York Comic Con Live. Put your hands together so the folks at home know you're real, ladies and gentlemen. There is a movie coming out. Right now we're in the year of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was massive at the box office, and people suddenly remembered she was a character for some reason or something like that. Everyone was like, where's she been? She's been here all along. She's got a fantastic, interesting backstory as to where she came from that we're now going to be able to watch a movie about, and that movie comes out this Friday. The movie is entitled Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. Give it up for the director, Angela Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Comic-Con?
Now, we were just talking right before we went, man, the timing for this couldn't be better for you in terms of like, it's been the year of Wonder Woman, but you've been working on this for a long, long time, right?
I've been working on this forever. I've been working on this probably actively about 8 years. It took me about 4 years to write it, nights and weekends between TV jobs, and 4 years to try to get it made. So.
What are the TV jobs? What were you working on?
I was working on The L Word and True Blood and How to Get Away with Murder, Hung, bunch of stuff.
So now, in terms of the material, in terms of being like, oh my God, the origin story of Wonder Woman is fascinating. How did that pop up on your radar? Were you a genre person, a fan of comics, or did somebody just one day be like, hey man, do you know the backstory of Wonder Woman?
Do you know this crazy ass story? I was a big Wonder Woman fan, and I kind of had been since I was a kid, and I'd finished directing my first feature. And
what was the first feature?
It was called Debs.
Right on.
You know? Yeah. About I don't know
if
there's any Debs fans out there. Jordana Brewster, who is in that movie, she knew I was a Wonder Woman fan, so she gave me a book on the history of Wonder Woman, and there was one chapter in there on the Marstons. And it just blew my mind. Like, he invented the lie detector test, and...
Yeah, for those unfamiliar, walk us through Professor Marston and his life.
Professor Marston was an incredible guy. He was an early psychologist, and he invented the lie detector test. So Wonder Woman's lasso of truth is kind of a direct descendant of his work in the lie detector test. But what's pretty wild about him is he lived in a relationship with his wife and their mutual lover, their student Olive Byrne, and they all lived together and had a family together, and this was kind of hidden from history for a long time. So the kind of movie explores their relationship and how they came together and fell in love, and how their relationship plays out in the pages of the Wonder Woman comic book.
So where in the flick does Wonder Woman start coming in? We meet them, hang out for a while, and he's like, I got an idea. Or
basically,
how does it happen?
Yeah, that does happen.
I mean, spoilers, but how does it happen?
He has a lot of ideas about human behavior and feminism and sexuality, and so Wonder Woman was inspired, like Olive Byrne, one of the characters in the movie, who he was partnered with, wore silver bracelets her whole life that ended up being Wonder Woman.
Kidding, really?
No, for real. Like, she wears these silver bracelets. You could see them in all these photos, and so that became the inspiration of Wonder Woman's bracelets that deflected bullets. And he had a lot of theories about. He basically put a lot of bondage imagery in the early Wonder Woman comics to kind of get across his. He thought women should run the world, basically, and he was a psychologist. He did. And he did all these studies, and he came to the conclusion that the world would be a way friggin' better place if women just ran the world. So he created Wonder Woman to put all his psychological theories in them. But a lot of them were about making men and boys respect powerful women. So he put a lot of bondage imagery in the early Wonder Woman comic books. So this film, and then there was a big backlash when Wonder Woman first came out. She was a huge success and was outselling Superman, like out of the gate. But a lot of watchdog groups said there's too much sex stuff, there's too much violence, there's too much bondage imagery, and they came down hard, and there were comic book burnings. It was a big deal.
Now, I mean, in terms of making a feature about the creation of a comic book character, the people behind a comic book character, it's kind of like a secret origin story to some degree. In the comic book world, if you look behind a character, they call it secret origin. Is that easy to get made or tough to get made? It took 8 years to pull it together, but was it 8 years of knocking on doors, or?
It was about 4 years of knocking on doors. Like, it's definitely an indie movie, and we, you know, it came together and fell apart a bunch of times, but finally, Sony's Stage 6, they fell in love with the script and finally put down some money, not a lot. We shot it in 25 days.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
impressive. Those were my director eyes.
Yeah, I know.
25 days.
3 decades, period movie. So it was really, it was something, but it was
Who's
cool.
your cast? Who's in it?
Luke Evans.
Plays
You guys
Professor
know Luke
Marston.
Evans, Gaston in Beauty and the Beast and Fast and the Furious and like 8 jillion incredible movies. Plays Professor Marston, the incredible Rebecca Hall, who is brilliant. I have to say, she's brilliant in the movie. And Bella Heathcote, who has been in a bunch, Neon Demon, 50 Shades Darker, and a bunch of things. But this is her, I think, first big, exciting role. So that's the cast.
Now,
and Connie Britton and Oliver Platt.
Nice. Did you take it to festivals? Were you on the festival route with it?
Yeah, we just premiered in Toronto.
How did it go? Toronto, wonderful.
Great.
Festival. Really?
Yeah. The response has been really good so far.
So where is limited release? So they're going to start in key cities or something?
We're going wide.
Are you
next
really?
Friday. Yep. All over the place. So they're giving us a wide release.
That is, for those of you who love comic books and comic book movies, this is a comic book movie. This is a comic book movie you want to support because what a good idea to take a look behind the characters. But I'll be honest with you, I know a lot about some of the people that have created some of our favorite characters. Yeah. He is by far the most interesting.
By far.
I like the Bob Kane documentary. Wouldn't touch that documentary about Professor Marston, man. Is there anything else that like you see down the road where you're like, I'm going to do another biopic?
I don't know. You know, we just announced I'm working with Terry Moore to adapt Strangers in Paradise.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! For those that don't follow, Strange. Oh my, that's one of my favorite comics.
I mean,
for years people have been talking about trying to do it, and it seems like deceptively simple because it's people talking to each other.
Yeah.
But now, really?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Do that,
Right
man.
on.
Do that. That's
Thanks.
tremendous. Everyone, when we talk about comic book movies, we tend to think of Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
But like indie comics, man, and that would be tremendous.
SIP.
You got my money. I'm going to see Professor Marston, the Wonder Woman, and it's this Friday.
Yeah, October 13th.
There it is, man. Celebrate Wonder Woman. Celebrate Angel's hard work. Go see Professor Marston, the Wonder Woman on Friday.